We have long known that the Russian president is really interested in ancient history, whether it is his hairstyle, army, or favorite actors. But the historical fun fact he brought up now could radically change how we see the war in Ukraine. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome again to our Eastern European newsfeed. And today we're going geographic on your ass. Because Putin has been saying for years that there's no historical basis for Ukraine's existence. But this time, he's very visual about it.
We found a copy of a map from the 17th century, created during the time of Louis XIV, in the middle of the 17th, in the second half of the 17th century.
Yes, that is a chairman of the Russian Constitutional Court, which, by the way, is the second most useless job in the world, right behind Donald Trump's nutritionist. And because he's not exactly busy at work, he has plenty of time to go around and show 17th century French maps to dictators. Well, it is Russia, so it's probably a low-quality Shutterstock copy. But you won't believe what he found out.
Why did I bring it? Vladimir Vladimirovich. It has no Ukraine.
Of course, Soviet rule created Soviet Ukraine. It is a well-known fact. No Ukraine existed in the history of humankind until then.
Wait, there is no Ukraine on the map? That means that the Russians were right. They were right. Ukraine has no right to exist. Russia has the right to occupy it. And there are Nazis in Kiev. But wait. At second glance, what is that thing in the Polish-Lithuanian Union? What is the Ukraine they are speaking of? To be honest, it mostly sounds like dill-based soup. But couldn't it be the French name for Ukraine, the land of Cossacks? But that would mean that Putin is not able to fact-check even his own propaganda, and that is a reality I'm not willing to accept. But wait. Why does the map show Crimea as belonging to Tatars? I've always thought that Crimea belongs only to one nation.
It is sufficient to know the history of Crimea, to know what Russia meant and means for Crimea, and Crimea for Russia. In Crimea, virtually everything is permeated with our history.
It's really starting to feel like Putin is entitled to owning Crimea the same way these guys do. Isn't it the case that you can basically use any map you want depending on your argument? And lucky for Putin, I am a huge fan of cartography, aka a virgin, and we are going to browse through a couple of maps right now. Did you know that according to this map, Moscow is actually ruled by Kiev? And that's a map that usually only makes sense during your 13th century history class or Putin's urine-inducing dreams. Another very interesting map is also from the 13th century and is amazing if you're Mongolian. And if we're really playing the game in which an order hundreds of years old makes sense today, I might suggest a Genghis Khan statue in Yaroslavl. But hey, we don't have to go back all the way to the 13th century just to make a point. Only a retard would do that. Let's go modern and look at the 20th century. Because I have seen a map of Russia that looks insanely good for a certain Western nation. I mean, you do have to be really specific to make that point, but Putin obviously likes that. So thank you once again for the lesson, and see you next time in cartography class. Guys, make sure to subscribe, watch us regularly, we have many new videos every week, ring that bell, and I'm sure you want to find out more about Eastern European cover songs, and you can do that right now.